When you see this image, probably the first thing you think is, sure, some kids suck at art. The second thing you might think is, it could be an example of constructional apraxia that might have some very severe global implications. And you're absolutely right. These drawings were actually done by adults in Brazil, and they were part of a study looking at the cognitive impact of people recovering from mild COVID. The participants in the study were asked to copy and memorize and draw from memory this figure, which is called a Ray-Osterreich complex figure. The tasks of both copying and trying to draw from memory measure multiple different things, including executive function, memory, attention, and visuospatial ability, which is the ability of your mind to manipulate and think through 2D or 3D figures. The researchers found that 26% of people recovering from mild COVID in their study struggled with this task and showed what is called constructive apraxia, the inability to complete a task well, even if you understand the task, you are interested and want to do it, and you have the physical abilities to do it, your brain just can't get you there. And why does this matter? Well, the researchers point out that these skills of visuospatial ability, executive function, the same skills you need to copy the figure, are also relevant in fields like surgery, or being a pilot, or daily activities like planning your day or driving. And so the researchers expect that millions of people are suffering from these deficits and may not be aware because the way you measure it is through very specific tasks like this. But are there places we could see it out in the world? Well, car crashes have skyrocketed in the US during the pandemic, as have near collisions at airports. The FAA is actually investigating this. I personally have been seeing people drive down one-way streets, run red lights, stopped at green lights. Just the driving is horrible and kind of scary, and looking at this research pairs the anecdote with scientific evidence. Tell me in the comments, have you been seeing things like this? And in the abstract, it's fine if people are struggling with these things. I support them. The problem is we're not taking it into account in our complex systems we live in. We're not changing our safety standards or protocols to take this into account. And it's yet another example of how trying to live pre-pandemic is destined to fail because the people are not the same as they were pre-pandemic. Two additional points. The first is that in the study, 26% of people struggled with this task after having mild COVID, compared to 6% of people in a control group. So there was a noticeable, very large difference. And two, just because I didn't mention it, COVID does impact your brain. I have other videos on that. You can look it up. COVID's not a respiratory disease, it's a vascular disease.